Look at all these people here.
I know. Oh my goodness, Ravneet. How are you doing? Even though
Good.
I was just chatting with you in the back. How's your
I know.
tea?
I just made myself a cup of tea. Uh,
Right on.
it's boiling hot right now, so I'm gonna wait for it to
Yeah,
cool down a bit.
yeah. Tea is to
How
be
about you?
next. Oh, I've got my water today.
Good.
Yeah, I got my water today. I gotta turn the sound down because I keep hearing the feedback from my other phone. I told you I put my other phone so I could watch
Okay.
the play, and then I just heard myself talking and saying the same thing, and it was like, whoa, freaky. So I just turned it
Yeah.
down. So
Oh, okay.
that's what was going on right there. So, how have you been? How was your week?
Um, it's been an interesting week. Just been a bit busy. How's yours?
It's been, you know what? It's been a busy week. Um, Productive. Ended up, well, I ended up getting a gig that's, temporary gig, but, it's a gig nonetheless. Stretched me in different places, but in good places, and it's all working out good. So,
Yeah.
spirit is good. Spirit's good, and I'm rolling
Right.
with it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So, this is tonight's topic. It, I've been thinking about it as I do every time we do a topic, but it's usually, then as it's approaching, I really start thinking, okay, why we were doing this topic, which is dealing with the topic of why do we find it hard to ask for help and why are we fearful of that? And I thought it was a great topic because, like a lot of our topics, it is dealing a lot with mental health, or mental health comes into play, and we
Mm,
are in a time period where the mental health is at it's become one of the main focal points, and we see that when we look out and we see if you look at a lot of what we are seeing in terms of what's being promoted from the media on all sources and all platforms, or but that's coming from a place. Some of it is coming from a place of where there is definitely something going the hell on. And when you think of some of the heinous things that we see happening, and you say, how does it happen? Which I'm just thinking of some of the murders, mass murders that we're seeing, random stuff that's taken place. Before it all gets to that point, what I'm trying to say, why why is it hard for people? Or why aren't people asking for help? And if they are asking for help, why is it that we are not seeing? And when I say we, I am talking about the collective, because I think that, you know what, if you are involved inside your community, your eyes should be open in some kind of way to the world that is around you, and that being your community and the people that live in your community. And then, um, I just think it's important. That's what I call keeping a pulse on the community. But that is why we have come to have this discussion this evening.
yeah.
So,
Yes,
why do
and
you go ahead?
no, go ahead. I was just
I was going to say, like, what are some of the reasons, or why do you think it is difficult for people to reach out and ask for help?
um I think there are multiple reasons. One of them can be it's a kind of cultural. that to be independent and you're grown up, and if you're a man, then you have a separate set of rules and obligations, which may or may not be true. So I think sometimes it's cultural, sometimes it can be like out of ego that, like we are an adult, so we are capable.
Mm,
It's built
mm-hmm,
around identity that
mm-hmm.
if I can't take care of this, then I'm not an adult, right? It's like, or you know what I mean? So
Yes, yes.
I that's another thing I found in myself. What else?
But where is that coming
Oh,
from? That's that because you know what? Yeah, I think you made some good points because I think that they are all points that would that have even it's coming from my own personal experience may have stopped me at different points from reaching out for help long before a situation got to the particular place of where it did. But my point being is why? Why do you think that that happens? Why do you think that we? I know you mentioned ego being, but what was surrounding the ego?
well, it's a major um crack in the psyche, especially I think that people who generally have a healthy sense of belonging growing up don't even feel this, right? And that tells me that most of us maybe never grew up in a healthy sense of tribe or community, which is why we are talking about this today, right? That why are we even asking this question is itself a big question. That how did we get here?
Mm,
Because as we all know, for example, I think we don't realize that we are so interdependent on each other, um, because, for example, if today I need a car, an auto insurance, I need to contact those people. I can't do it by myself. I'm just
mm,
saying. I'm just, or if you're sick, then you need to go to the doctor, right?
hmm
We never question it then, why do we need people? It's only when it's vulnerable, vulnerable, and that too is questionable, what classifies as vulnerability. I
hmm
think it comes up a lot more in our intimate relationships, in our friendships. We are really, I think we have categorized community is okay in this and this sector, but not when I have to open up, So
mm.
that's interesting to me because I don't know if you guys resonate with it, and hello people in the chat. It's like
Yes, hello everyone.
we all, when we need to get somewhere, we all need to take the same road system, don't we?
Hmm
And we need to go together. Even if we don't know each other, we still need to work together to get to
hmm
wherever we want to. So I
hmm
think we are already so dependent on each other, but it's just that mentality of, oh, but I'm so independent. Like it's interesting how we segregate. Um,
I, yeah, well, yeah, I think that, and we also are living in a world that breeds independence in the sense that, you know what,
yeah,
um, uh, independent from one another is what I mean. Instead of looking at it from, we are programmed. everything is designed in such a way. It doesn't, it's not designed for inclusiveness. It is designed more in such a way when you think about, and when you think about building in your society, you're thinking about building just for your unit. You're not thinking from a community unit. We're not programmed uh, to think on that level.
Right, right. Which is interesting because I was thinking about it yesterday. I know self-awareness, inner work, all of these psychology terms that we use are well and good. But it
Hmm.
also makes us super egoistic because all
Hmm.
of our focus is
Hmm.
only on ourselves.
Hmm.
So you see what I mean? Like it can um hey Pascal, welcome. And everyone else.
Pascal, hello,
But
and everyone else in the chat, hello.
yes, welcome. And it's like I forgot my point. I forgot. But I
Yeah,
was saying something. I was like, oh yeah, it's like that whole mentality of yes, it's important to be a hermit, but remember that if you stay a hermit all your life, you lose out on a lot. We need to come back and bring all of the things that we learned back to society, back to community, where it's needed, where it's needed. If we keep, and I think that's where our responsibility comes in, each one of us. Yes, we need our time alone. And again, we go back to balance. We need time alone, but we also, it is our responsibility to then bring all of that, whatever we learned, back to the future generation and, to the community. It's like
I would.
hoarding. It's like
Hmm.
hoarding, wisdom hoarding, right? But it's
Hmm.
another level of hoarding. So I think that's another aspect where we there's a challenge maybe to um again it's there are a lot of things, but let's
Yes, I I think of our current climate in the vast changes that we're facing on a continuum. Like, it's not like, it's one thing happened and you're okay to settle with that for a moment. We've got a lot of different changes and the threat of other changes coming at us. And we're seeing the effects, some of the devastating effects coming from some of the massive changes, whether it was through legislation in some way or other, or cuts, whatever. When I'm sitting there and I'm talking about whether it's from homelessness to um, even household budgets. And when
yeah.
you sit there and you think it and you're comparing it to the cost of living and it's raised, it's happened in such a way that we just can't deny it almost anymore. And so for some people, even it's harder to remain in the performance. So with that,
Yeah.
there comes a struggle. And so that struggle for some has gotten to the point of where it has made some in their lives. And so what I'm saying is that that's how bad that it can get. Or you've got someone that might be even battling with that. So here's what I'm saying is that as all of this is going on, what do you think? That's not all I'm saying, but I'm thinking, what is it that prevents one from reaching out before it gets that bad? And I know I said about performance,
Mm.
but what does that look like?
I think there are a lot of factors. We have internet now, we have social media, so we automatically people want to showcase only the best parts of themselves, which gives you an illusion that
Right,
everyone has got it together, but that's
right,
not true.
right.
Um, So there are a lot more distractions, I feel like, in today's world. Um, and then yeah, like comparison is a big one, I think, which makes you
Mm,
feel like, oh yeah, like they got it together and look at me. And it's just the things that we make up in our mind instead of reaching out and asking them how they did it or whatever it is, whatever. Like you can ask someone, right? If it's something that you're seeking. Um but rather than doing it, we would rather take 10 years to get there rather than asking that person, which is a few days ago, that same thing I was talking to you. Our culture is today's world, or I guess our generation, in my
mhm.
perspective, we are much more egoistic because we think just because we have access to so much knowledge that we don't need mentors and we don't need
Right,
people.
right, right.
So again, hi Sabrina,
Mm.
welcome.
Hello, Sabrina. Welcome.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Um, there are a lot of things that I think, Hilda, because um sometimes it can also be about control. If you lived in a very chaotic household,
Right,
you would want to control how it's done, because
right.
um yeah, and I feel like, and I think you touched a little bit on this, the current structure that we have. For example, I'm talking about North America here. It can be different. It can look different parts of the world. um Okay, so Sabrina, I'm glad you're here. She's here for
Yes,
a little bit, but
that's good.
enjoy the replay. But
Yeah.
I think the current structure that we have in North America, for example, there are so many things that you need to do. Um, there's home insurance. I'm just saying there's home insurance, there's car stuff. Like there's just so many things that you need to do to just live, like, legally, you know what I mean? And not everyone is able to do that. So you see, it pushes a lot of people in survival mode, which makes you feel that you are by yourself. And if it's not part of the culture that you grew up in, for example, like I'm talking about the average American things that hyper like independence, and I say hyper independence is very much part of the culture. People
Hmm.
actually throw out their kids after a certain point saying, go out and, you need to work. And it's not a thing in India, where I come from. Um,
Hmm.
it was, we were told to focus just on studies. And I know it's different. Like it's completely different, but I'm just saying, like, culture has a lot to do with with it as well, I think.
You had made a point previous, and I was sitting there and I was listening, but I didn't want to forget this point because it was a good point. You talked about performance. Some of it has come through performance. I said, why is it? Because you're still performing. And there, hence comes my point that with all these changes that are coming down, that's why it is going to be 10 times important that we center in what is your reality. Because if you're not living in your reality, then you're living in
Yes.
some type of a performance which doesn't meet the reality of what's
Yes.
really going on around you. So, um,
That's the thing. That's the thing, because I think it's very, especially in today's culture, or world of over um, information or overconsumption of information. If
right.
we don't take the time to center ourselves,
Hmm.
okay, so you know what I mean. You will not even know where you're going, And I think that's another thing why people then feel really small and defeated when that's not even the
Mm,
reality. And nobody likes, I'm just saying, if you are sad, people will, most of the time, people will be like, I just don't want that around me. I have
that's
this
it.
amount of time and I want to have a good time. And so it also internalized pressure of
In
performing, like you said. It's just,
yeah.
I don't think we ever question, okay, I'm doing all of this, but do I need to?
Hmm.
Do I need to do all of this? I don't think we ever question that. And that's what happens if you don't take the time to center yourself. You'll be constantly swayed by external stimuli, whatever that is.
Yes, yes, yes. Especially when you are living your life or the experience through the comparison of someone else.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, it's so easy. We have so much access to all of, I guess I'll say we are much more connected in today's world than we were before. But that also means we have access to a lot more information that we just don't need.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so, how do we discern what is required for us to ingest or what is not? You know what I mean? Like we are the mercy of
Hmm.
algorithm then.
Hmm. Hmm.
And do we even need to? What is the purpose of us ingesting all of this information? And
Mm.
how do we cross verify if that's even real? That's the danger. That's the danger of this social media, I feel like, because we are telling essentially giving authority to social media to think for us because we are not taking the time to think,
Right.
you know, that's what we're talking about here.
Absolutely. I think that once again a very good point because I definitely think that it has its effect and um, that being social media and you looking at everybody else's life, everybody else's
Yeah,
situation,
yeah,
everybody and it
it's true.
being and depending on how much time you spend in those areas because that would be no different than if you were hanging out in
Yeah.
the
It's like
physical arena, you
exactly,
know?
but for the brain, there's no difference between the screen and reality. There's
Right,
no difference at
right,
all.
right, right.
Um, so that means we need to be really smart about what we are ingesting. And we are talking about this because
Mm,
what is happening is that um, when we do all of this, right, which all of us do, including me, but then we need to be cognizant, right? That's where our responsibility is.
mhm, mhm,
Uh, when we scroll, we don't realize that our subconscious then will try to manifest whatever it is that you're watching. So
mhm,
we are unconsciously taking on a lot more load than is necessary or maybe is not even required, which
mhm.
then, um, you see what I mean? We are constantly shooting out, um, what do I say?
Messages,
Intentions. Yeah,
yes, messages of intention,
yeah,
yes,
messages
to the
are
universe.
out in the universe, which may or may not be right for us. So you see what I mean? It's like scattered energy. It is scattered
Yeah.
energy.
And how does
So
the universe work with that in
how
terms
does
of
the universe work with
manifestation?
it? Because
It
you
doesn't.
don't even know if you want it. You see what I mean? You're constantly,
Right,
it's like
right,
either you
right,
have
right,
this capability or mastery of the
right.
self that you can, like essentially assimilate all of that you're ingesting, because you are ingesting, right? Which I don't think all of us have because of the limited human experience. We think we
Yeah.
do, but we don't.
Mm,
And that's where I think you lived experience, nothing can trump lived experience, is what I'm trying to say. Um, you can see something and you can understand it to a certain level, but then it does not, it's like that's what is happening. I think we are living in our prefrontal cortex here.
mhm,
And
mhm,
because that's where we are constantly, this is getting triggered so much that we
mhm,
live just through the prefrontal. We're not using the whole brain because we're
mm,
just here. So
mm.
that's why I think when we take the time to ground ourselves and to center ourselves and to create more space in our life, I constantly keep saying, create space, because that is what it is.
Listening to your thoughts, your
Yeah,
thoughts. This is what your, but you know, you have to
we
think
don't
that.
even know what our thoughts are.
That's what I
That's,
mean. Like when that's where all that excess scrolling
yeah,
and all that. Because here's a point I wanted to make. Have you ever found yourself? And this is when I know that it's
yeah,
mindless. I'm doing mindless scrolling. I'm watching something and
yeah.
I'm looking for the next thing as I'm watching. That is, yeah, 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 mindless.
And I think I'm saying this because until and unless we come to our body, we will never realize the importance of community and the importance of asking for help, because we'll be like, oh, I can just Google it. And we have done
Yes,
that, right? We could Google for 3 hours rather than asking someone
yes, yes,
who knows it.
yes, 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 yes.
And what happens is, this is just a small example, but if you do that in your life, you will spend so much of your life stuck in one problem which could actually be resolved and you could move forward and actually
Yes,
that's
yes,
what I'm saying.
yes.
If you don't take the time to ask for help, and which requires you to then come back to yourself, right? Then can you ask
Which
for help?
means you have to deal, because that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that was the
Deal.
point that I was going to make. That you know what, you will find yourself in a box thinking with not only finding yourself the problem growing to a because not only is it may be growing in the physical, but it's also growing in your mind and taking over in that way where you know um um when you center and you say, okay, I've done all the possible. Yeah, I need help. I think I need help. But whatever way that
Yeah.
that one looks.
And I think all of us are suffering because of that, especially the elder community. People, and especially people of my age, and I'm included in that as well. We, because our society is so built on efficiency and money and making money and all of that,
Mm,
then we just
mm-hmm,
completely dispose
mm-hmm,
of this
mm-hmm.
generation of people who actually need us.
Yes, yes.
That's the danger, because we I think that at the end of the day, oh yeah, what I was trying to say was that when we stop asking people for help, what it does, it also impacts other people because they don't feel
Mm,
useful.
mm, mm,
Because it's like they have something, but like for example, our parents, and I think a couple years ago, one of my bosses were like, I have three sons, and like one of them were like, tying a knot, what is that, like a tie knot, and he, rather than asking me, he actually searched on YouTube to do that, and I felt so offended because I want, like that's what I'm saying, like we don't give people the opportunity to be of help. We rob that of them.
I that which brings me to a point because another great point to the importance of the topic because you could be actually blocking your own blessing. blocking your own blessings in the sense that, what if that was set up within this lifetime, that that person was to be connected to you, that you're asking for
Yeah.
help? What if
Yeah.
that was that that you were supposed to be linking with that person, and you,
Yes.
and not only that, but if that is a problem on that magnitude of where uh, you're seeing negative effects
Yes,
on a
that's what is
deeper level,
happening.
then it's usually
Yeah,
something that's coming from a generational place and it's
right.
showing up in you. Why is it showing up in you? So what is it?
Absolutely.
So in order to clean it up from a generational standpoint, and as I said, you may be blocking your own blessing and also someone that's supposed to be on your path. That's why you were supposed to be connected or connecting with them.
Exactly. Absolutely. For example, I'll give you a personal life example. My dad was here a couple months ago, and I could have done it by myself. And I was like, no, I'm going to ask him for help. I'm like,
Yes,
can you do it
yes.
for me? And he was like, you can do it. I'm like, no, I want, for example, I just asked him, can you make a cup of tea for me? He's like, but your mom does it and she does it well. I'm like, no, uh, can you make a cup of tea for me? And he did it and
Mhm.
he felt so good about it. And that's what I'm saying
Yeah.
is when we don't, I think everyone is suffering because of this. Men, women are acting like men, men are acting like women.
Yes.
And I think when we don't um give people the choice and responsibility or you know to take responsibility, then they don't show up in their lives too. I'm just saying that you can take it anywhere, but that's what I'm trying to say, that when you don't let people take ownership and show up in your life a certain way, you rob them of a lot of things, including, I think that's why a lot many people, I'm just saying, have Alzheimer's today, because it's like they just cut off from themselves. They're from their potential, from what they could be,
Okay, bringing me to
right?
my next point. Very good point. Very good points. Bringing me to my next point being that, okay, um, oh my God, I don't believe I forgot my point. It aligned with exactly what you were saying in reference to,
Yeah, it's like finding a partner. Okay, if you're doing everything, I don't know what the other person is going to do. It's
mhm,
like
it'll come to
if
me.
you, yeah, if you want a healthy mate, um, what are you doing about it? And are you giving or are you creating space in your life for that? I think it is
Mm,
about that. If you want elderly people in your life, if you want wisdom in your life, then you need to create space for that. You need to
right,
create space for older people in
right,
your life,
right,
people in your family to show up a certain way. And of course,
right.
they will get triggered. But I think that, like you said, I think for generations, we have become so independent to the point that people don't feel useful. So they checked out basically long time ago.
Yes, yes,
They checked out.
yes. Big time, big time.
I can
And,
see that in my family. There's no wisdom at all. It's like I constantly have to seek out. I'm like, no, but you do have, like, tell me about your past, tell me about this and that and all of this. They don't think they have anything to tell us. They think we know everything. I'm like, no, that's not
mm,
true.
mm, mm.
Google does not know everything. What are you talking about?
Well, that's the thing right there. But that comes through some sort of programming too. And after a while of if you've raised a child in the past 20, 30 years, then you have noticed a gap between your learning and their learning. because 30
Yeah.
years ago, that's when computers came on the scene. The generation before that, we were barely introduced to computers. And what was introduced as a computer and uh, was so big and clunky and it wasn't
Well, I'm not
accessible.
talking about technology here. Like, I think
No,
we can handle that very well. What I'm talking about is the lived experience. Can computer compensate the same thing? I'm
I know. I'm saying, but
right.
what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that either. I'm not talking about the
Okay,
computer.
okay.
I'm talking
Mm,
about how the computer we are programmed from
I
all the
see.
different various messages, and for someone of like your parents' generation, it's like uh,
Mm,
knowledge is power. You know how you can go to Google and boom, however it's there, and they see that. They see that. Well, why would they want to know about that? It's us that have to make that important. All those the valuable parts of the information that people like your parents have or people of their age bracket because they've lived the time periods, um, have the plethora of experience that Google is only going to give you a brief analysis or definition of
yeah.
whatever.
Also, not everything on Google is right. You actually have to sift through
Yeah,
the
yes,
information, and
yes.
it's not the same. Um,
Henceforth, that's the importance of your
but like,
parents.
how do you exactly like? I think we are, if you ask me, I think we are going to go back to the same system, if you ask me, because this is not going to work, and this is not working, actually. People are stressed. Their only two parents are taking care of the kids when it's supposed to be like a tribal thing. It's not two people
Right,
cannot take care of the
right,
kid.
right.
I think eventually, I think we're gonna go back again full circle. I
Well,
think so.
once again, everything is programming you out, and what's got you programmed out. Is it your
Yeah.
house? Is it your cars? Is it your all the extra exterior stuff? Or are you going to say, I'm going to create a life of where, what, the, the inside of my home is more important than all of it. So I'm going to create that space or life that's going to allow me to nurture that. Doing whatever it is that I have to do. Because that's what some folk are going to have to realize is that there will be changes that one will have to make in order to get to that. For some of us, some of us have already started. Their lives are in motion and programming their lives to
Well,
incorporate that.
hmm, I think I think again I think we are an utterly confused generation, if you ask me, because again we are bombarded with this information that actually is not helpful. We don't need that much information.
Right,
It does not
right.
relate to you. It does not pertain to you. It just doesn't matter. And what happens is because of that, and because of the sheer responsibilities and this, what all of that we are talking about, we don't take the time or we don't have time to
Right,
think about
right.
things that actually matter. And what I have realized based on my experience so far is that you need to slow down. Like there is no joy in living fast and having everything fast and all of this. The pace at which we are all going is not going anywhere except um pain. Okay. We think we are advancing, but think about it. We have access to so much. How is that? Is your soul okay? Is
Mm,
it really bringing you peace? And when I say peace, it's not, oh yeah, I don't know, I had pasta and wow, what a I feel like no, that's not what I'm talking about. It's like that soul level peace comes through slowing down, going back to the earth, going back to basics, going back to community, going back to your body.
but in order to do that, a part of the process is also,
It is. It is.
looking at the construct of time. You gotta relinquish that construct of time. That and what I mean by that, that 24-hour clock, got to get rid of that because that is not how spirit works. Spirit does have a time, and everything is in spirit time. And I can tell you, it's not that going to be on that 24-hour clock. But most folk are evaluating from the 24-hour clock or 12-month calendar or etc.
Well, that's because there's a rush always. If you
That's
just
what
notice
makes the
on,
rush.
yeah, and if you just, and that's the thing, if you're on a hamster wheel, there's no way you can be on the hamster wheel and still feel like you're at peace. No, no,
Hmm.
that's not happening.
Hmm.
And I think that's what we are trying to do. We are saying that we're on the hamster wheel, but we're still trying to find peace. We're going on retreats, we're traveling, blah blah blah. It doesn't work like that.
Hmm.
Doesn't work
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
So, but it's a process again, and understandably, it takes time to
Hmm.
understand all of these things. It's not a switch, right?
Hmm.
So, but it does require you to then, like, you were saying, like, you need to center yourself. It's not even optional. I don't think it's optional because, and okay, as because I don't know. I had an image of the singer Madonna. Do you know her?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Madonna?
Well, yeah, Madonna. And I don't know why I had this image of her, like, I don't know, just entitled. But yesterday I was listening to her interview and my God, she's such a deep person. But that's what I'm saying. Um, it's her personal journey, She can look a certain way.
Right,
But what
right,
you do in your personal life, that's what counts.
right, right.
You have
Mm-hmm.
to work on your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
only you know that, and you own it. You own your life. You're the
Mm.
king and queens of your time. So use it wisely.
And once more, that's that's where not comparing yourself to other people. That and I'll give you an example. This is a sunny day for me because this is my reality. This is a sunny day. The leaves have changed. Summer's out. They're experiencing something else. But that's not
Yeah.
my reality. Because just up the road from me, people are evacuating,
Mhm.
from fires. My whole point being is, do I let that distort my reality right now in my moment? Or what is my reality? Right now, my reality is a beautiful day.
Absolutely.
And that's where the centering comes in. I can get caught up in all the juice that's happening around me, and uh, what
It's
is my
important.
reality?
It's
Mm,
important to nourish yourself.
it is.
You cannot, I don't know, I think
Hmm.
a week or two ago, I was like drowning in all the news online, and I was like, and I felt
Hmm.
really sick the next week.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
That's what it does to you. Like that stress that we are constantly being fed, we don't understand the side effects of it. And it's not
Hmm.
that it's not happening. I think there's always something or the other happening, but it's about, like Hilda said, is that your reality? Or if you are taking on that burden, what are you doing about it? How are you metabolizing it? Because if you're just, it's going to stress you out. That stress is, you
Which
know,
brings me to the point of like going back to the asking for help. If you
asking for help.
are someone who is mentally struggling and you're not speaking about it, and you might, that's the whole point. Your reality is not the same reality as everybody else. And just know this, that you know what? Um, Point being is that um, I can guarantee you, you are not the only one that is struggling. My point being, but your thought process is
Right.
might be thinking that you are. Number two, that you know what I'm going to tell you. You're a man or you're a woman. You should have this. You should have this. Um, with everything that's been thrown at you, once again, there might be some reasons why you personally might be struggling. Because if you are one of the ones that's being hit with all the massive changes, yeah. So you're going to man up the same way as everybody else? No. I guess my whole point being is that going back to the point that we were making is that you are an individual. Um, and hell yes, your mental health matters. Your mental health matters. So when you look at yourself from an individual standpoint, not comparing yourself to everyone else. And as I said, that's centering these days because of all the you might have something you're doing often, often.
And I have been in that boat too, like when you confuse um independence with isolation.
Mm, hmm hmm
There's a major confusion in this aspect.
mm.
But it's not the same. You can have community but still be independent, it's like, and but what
Yeah,
does independence even mean? Like that's the question. Like when I asked in the beginning, what does that even mean? What does that mean?
yes,
Because in
yes,
reality, we are dependent, for example, on the plants and the animals. If we are a carnivore, I'm just saying we are dependent on each and everything here. So, what does independence really mean? Oh, it's only pertaining to us. That's the only thing we're independent about, but we're still connected.
that's right.
And I think that's a major wound that we have. I just want to point out that if we have struggle connecting, and including me, I have that wound as well, where it's like just because you had bad experiences does not make you, you shouldn't, don't isolate yourself just because of few bad experiences. Don't give up on humanity just because of,
Yeah, absolutely. Just because you know what uh, had a bad patch, a bad experience, or bad experiences. Point being, don't give up. But I was thinking when I think about my community and connectedness and whether we even are connected, and I think of that whole being independent. Well, then you just have a whole bunch of independent people who will be going through their independent struggles. Do you get where I'm going here? It's like as opposed to being connected to my neighbor. I have started connecting up with some of my neighbors, and that has been a not only has it been an eye-opening experience, but I realized that it's something that needed to change. It did,
yeah,
and that you know what, uh, we were all going through a human
yeah.
experience.
Can you give some context to people maybe they did not do not know what you're talking about? L-
In reference to what, like in terms of what
So
you
you got
connecting with my
connected,
community?
yes, because
Yeah.
some people might not know what you,
Okay. Well, basically, like you know what, I live in I'm back in a community of them, which you know what, I was born and raised, but moved away from the community, came back to the community, and then when you know what, talking about it, that community it did change. However, a lot of the older people being in the community gone. Those that are left doing just what we say, all living very independently, but not a very connected community anymore.
mm,
And, you know, I came home with the thought process, oh my God, what happened? And then I realized
yeah,
at some particular point and I'm going to say this, not so very long ago either, that it's time I have to make some connections. I have to
right,
start connecting myself back to the community.
yeah,
And I'm going to tell you something. There is a power in that. There
yeah,
is a power in that because I have a community member. I can tell you that just lives down the street from me, only houses down that I never even met. Really. Now that's When I tell you, I knew her children, I knew her husband, I never saw this woman. But because I made it that point, I gotta start reaching out.
Mm.
We can't be
Yeah,
just all
just reach out,
independent here.
right?
So that's what I did.
Absolutely.
And it,
Also when calamity struck, for example, like when you had wildfires,
when we
that's what I'm talking about. When COVID happened, where was our independence? Because we were all
right,
stuck. We are so
right.
affected by what happens anywhere in the world.
And
It's an
depending on who
illusion.
you are afraid of other
It's
people. Some
it's
people,
an it's an illusion, and that's what I'm trying to say. It's a privilege to be independent, is what I will say.
yes,
It's a
yes,
privilege because certain systems in the society can make you feel that you don't need nobody. For example, I'm just saying, for example, we have Amazon Prime. We feel like we can order it and it's going to come the next day. But you don't see what happened behind the scenes. So many people's work went into doing that for you. You see what I mean? It's a
yes,
very and we have talked about it before. If you're going for grocery shopping, you just see that bell pepper sitting there. You don't see the work that was put behind it, right?
exactly.
Oh, there are
Community
some.
is merely the caring
There's
and
one
love
message.
of others.
There's one message before that.
One message before that. Independent Independence is the absence of dependency on other people. Very good point. Yes. How are we having to be constantly dependent on the world around?
Very
Community
good
is merely
point.
the caring and love for others.
Yes,
Lessons of
exactly.
the world. Yes, yes,
It's like
yes.
uh it's so weird. And I'm telling you, whatever we're talking about here, I have been
Hmm.
that. I have been that, okay? And that's how I know how how messed up that is. Because I was busy all the time, right? And I think it just puts you in a certain way of living where it's just you're tired all the time, and there's just so many things, right? But couple days ago, I just met a neighbor and I just sat with them and I just gave them some time of mine, and I learned
Mm,
so much. I learned so much,
mm.
and I remember like some of the neighbors were passing through and they were looking at me it's just not normal anymore to talk to other people and to talk to our neighbor. It's so weird. Why?
And we
It's
all need
like,
help. We all need help sometimes.
yeah,
Have you ever had the project? You've been doing a project. You've been
yes,
maneuvering the project up to a certain point, and
yeah,
you need a second set of hands. You need a second set of
you
hands.
do. You do.
And you found
I'm
yourself
telling
saying,
you, it's an illusion. I think I can see that it is an illusion. It's like
yes,
it's very easy, especially if you go to if you go to developing countries, that's when you know it's a privilege to be independent. Because there you won't find Amazon Prime. I'm just saying. There are certain places where where you have to carry your own water. Where
yes,
will your independence go there? You
yes,
know what I mean?
yes, yes.
It's
You
we're not.
know, um,
What were
Lessons
you
of
going
the
to say?
Hermit this is a good
They're
question.
very good point. Thank you so
They
much for
are.
commenting.
Thank you.
They have a
What
question.
would you both say the most important resources of life are? This is a good question because I want to hear your answer first and then I will tell you mine. Because I know what mine is right away. Right away.
I think resources as in
Well, when I think of resources, yeah, what do you see? What do you think that the most important resources? And what do you look at as a resource?
yeah. Well, I think we are hugely dependent on nature. I just can't ignore that. Okay. So, um, I'm the same. Okay. And other than that, I feel like love and care and really caring for each other, I think it's are anything we utilize. Okay. We utilize. I want you to answer that first because my mind is going
Okay,
everywhere.
you know what? Listen, I can tell you right now that one of my biggest utilizes, I utilize source. I do. You know how many times I go to source, ancestors, whatever. That's my first. And sometimes when I'm caught up in the problem, I don't. I'm too busy trying to figure it out. Like if I don't have any of the solutions, whatever. That's a resource I will use. The other resource, I was sitting here and I was thinking about this because when I saw that question, I thought, oh my God, yeah, it is people. I don't know how many times I have been in a new area, moved into a new area, and I knew that I might be new in the community, but I had to build my own sense of community inside this community. So whether it was getting to know my neighbor that was on this side of me or my neighbor on that side of me, of where it could have been just in an amicable position. But I tell you, it has never failed me in doing that because of developing that community sort of relationship. When something happened in the community, we were easy. It was easier for us to pull together because there had been already
Mm,
contact made. Didn't mean that we were doing tea and all of that, but you know what? Close enough in a unit that we weren't trying to be completely independent. Are you making sense? So I don't know if
yeah.
that's what you
I
were
think,
thinking about, but
yeah, they're fair points. I think definitely, again, I agree with you on the relationships. Um, I also want to add health. Um, I think that, oh my God, I think we ignore it, but if you're not
mm,
okay, like our physical body is not okay, forget about everything else. Just forget it
mm,
because you just
mm,
won't be able to focus on anything else.
mm, mm,
Um,
mm,
so I think relationships is something I definitely struggle with, which is why I think we want to talk about this today because it's a struggle of
mm.
mine too.
Yes,
Um, yeah, and definitely, oh, I would say time and people for these things can
th-
never be regained. That's
that's
true.
true. Very true.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Yeah, I think when like our attention is it's sacred, like wherever we put it, right? Um, yeah, I think for me, it's
And I think that, listen,
also
it's not a topic
connection,
we do.
also connection to the source. I think that as I'm growing older, I'm realizing that if you have a strong relationship with the divine, I think that it is really important for me. It's not optional anymore.
Mm,
No.
mm-mm,
Because if your compass is twisted, um, your compass needs to be aligned, I think. It needs to be in the proper place. Otherwise, everything else, you don't know if you don't know the direction you're going, I mean, it's just wasted, right? Everything. So,
absolutely, absolutely. And going back to the importance of tonight's conversation, it's something I also struggled with, and
the
Ken,
divine
I just want to say,
utilizes us, not we him. That's true. That's true.
yeah,
But I think
yeah.
if I'm talking from the perspective of a human, I think it goes both ways. The divine cannot use you if you don't allow it. That's where free will
Hmm,
comes in.
hmm,
So
hmm,
I think it
hmm,
goes both ways.
You have to be open to the process.
You have to be open. I wish I could say that, and that's why I think people when they make decisions that are not aligned, they're like, "Oh, but God is in us." I'm like, "No, that's not
Mm,
how it works."
mm,
Okay.
mm,
So,
mm.
but absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying something.
No, I think that also many very, very, very good points. But it's one of those things of where yeah, um, worthy of being discussed because it's all about becoming better in relationships, better individuals, all of the above. So that's the importance of looking and examining such things that we're looking at tonight. I think.
Well, it is about, again, nobody can tell you what to do, right? That's why we all have free will. But I think the point of these conversations is to really start to make you introspect and think about the choices
Hmm.
that we make, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
And
there's a comment. Every every stick stabilizes the tent. That's true.
mm, that's right. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
And once again, going back to the whole process, like I said, you don't know who's, I guess, you don't know who's your stick. You know, if you consider that yourself to be the champ in life, you don't know who your sticks are. So, therefore, um, be open to the process of being able to ask for help on all different levels. I think, especially
Yeah.
as we are going through a tenth season. That's what it feels like. A tenth season. Change, change. So you never know where you're going to be with your tent. Maybe a bad analogy, but you know what? Listen, I wanted to flow with it. Yeah, considering the fact that we have 10 cities all around, and considering the fact that, shit can change.
Yeah, I think that intuitively we all know there's something wrong, but it's just that we sometimes require courage to question it and do something about it. That's where I think courage comes in. Yeah. There's a
You know,
question.
yeah, what makes asking for help difficult? That's the thing. That's something that's going to be probably very different with each
Yeah.
person and where you're at on your journey. And, because I said some of it is it ego? Is it because of your ego that you're not asking? Is it coming from a place of what was your previous experience? What did your previous experience look like? And what do I mean? I'm talking about your previous early experiences. As I said, it's going to be something that's going to look completely different um, for each person. But in looking at it, um,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's going to depend on the angle.
it depends on, yeah, it depends. It's very personal, definitely. But I think we did talk about different reasons for that. Asana, the naughty cat. Um, Also, I will make it grounded again because that's my favorite thing to be. Is that
Mm,
which is one area in your life, people in the chat, feel free to answer to.
mm,
One area in your life where asking for help, or you're resisting asking for help, and why? What do you think is a fear
mm. What is one of my areas for asking for help?
where you're resisting asking for help?
I can't give you any examples of that currently, but I will tell you there was an area not so very, very long ago where I had come up against an experience of needing help. And without getting into any and all of the details, I will just share it like this. That problem I let
Mm.
grow and grow and grow in my mind and muddling over all the different solutions that I could possibly come up with for the problem. And also, also there was a level of shame that was there with me because of um, the need to ask for help. So my whole point being is, it wasn't until you know I centered myself up. I
Mm.
did. I had to come into my center and realize that it was okay to ask for help. And once I did it, not only did it freed me up, but all that heavy thinking, it it made me see clearer in everything else. Does that make sense?
But the question was,
What was the question? Oh, so I went on. See, I was going there, but I wasn't giving you no details. I
I was
wasn't giving
trying to
no. I wasn't
connect the
giving. I
dots.
wasn't. I wasn't giving. I wasn't giving all my juice.
Now
Yeah, because some things,
maybe you said
it
it.
was a problem, major problem.
No, the question was like, where was one area in
Okay.
your life where you're resisting asking for help?
Mm. And I
Or where
maybe you
you
know what?
where or I'll say, like you said, or maybe the area where you should have asked for help sooner.
Okay, I'll give you an example. I've got wood coming, and you know what? It can feel really overwhelming. And I could reach out and ask for help, but I won't do it. I won't do it. I'll do it myself, and I will get through it, and I will do it. And that's the processing and throwing in for all of you that don't know. I burn wood. Uh, is It's an alternate, not an alternate heating source. It's one of my main
Okay.
heating sources. But yeah, so
Okay.
sometimes when I need help around here, uh, yeah, yeah, I do find it hard to ask for help. Yeah, it'll get to that level. So if you want a current situation, yeah, because I'm
Well, do
used to
you
uh,
have help?
sensitive.
Like, and that's another thing. Sometimes um we just don't have help. So I
Well,
don't know.
that's
Same.
yeah, well, the adequate help. That's the thing. Yeah,
Right.
and so yeah,
Oh God, hold on.
do I have help? Never thought about it like that either. But no, no, no.
Because I think that the question some is that sometimes um we have an option, but we choose not to. But I don't want you to gaslight yourself thinking that you don't ask
Well,
for help.
you know what? Well, first of all, yeah. If I'm not asking, there's usually a
Okay.
reason
Okay.
why.
Exactly.
That I'm not
So
asking.
it's fine.
So yeah.
Okay. So I guess you don't have any area where um
Like I said, you know what? My one example I gave you, but I didn't give you enough juice. I didn't give you all the inner details. Here's what I will tell you. I did eventually reach out and ask for help,
okay.
and
Good.
it changed the whole narrative. And what I will tell you is it just opened up a whole pathway for other things
Right.
also to happen. So that's the importance of
Yeah.
coming out of my box. Mhm. And no, I still
Yeah.
didn't give you an example because it's personal.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um
What about you?
yeah, I'm thinking. Where I resisted asking for help. I think that I have a lot of issues asking for help in every sector, but um, it's because sometimes I think I don't understand, and I was talking to you before, I don't understand that I need
Mm,
help, and I take it too far, probably because I have been pushing myself so, too
mm-hmm,
much for the longest time. I don't understand that I need help. So I think I am slowly starting to see the symptoms when I take it too far, which is that I start throwing things, I become clumsy. That's when I realize, okay, I need help. Right, I got it. So I think I'm still in the stages of trying to
but you know
see
what?
the
You make a
signs.
good point,
Yeah.
and that's the other point. What are one of the symptoms? Anger.
And
Anger
anger. Yeah,
can be
that's
one of the symptoms that we start to feel.
right.
Walking around feeling angry
And
because you're not feeling supported.
feeling victimized, right? And that's, I think they're
Right,
kind of go together. Some people, instead of saying they feel like a victim, they show it as anger because
right.
that's an emotion that people kind of sync with being a warrior, but I think it's kind of not. It's not.
No, no.
Um, so absolutely, I think they are related. But yeah, there are so many symptoms that you start to see. You'll go in spirals and you'll feel tired, and
Mm,
you'll try to distract and like do all of this, um, binge watch. All of these are just, you know,
mm-hmm,
lessons of the hermit say secondary emotion.
mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Secondary emotion. I was thinking just it's like it's a side effect of
Okay.
the
Yes,
symptom. You
it
know, side
is.
effect of the symptom.
Anger is okay. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I think that um guilt can come in. There's so many, depending on your past experiences, it can show up in
Mm-hmm,
different ways.
mm-hmm.
You can start blaming yourself, you can start criticizing yourself, um which is another reason I think we hesitate to ask for help, because we're like, we're not good enough, and look at people who are doing this and that, and you start to compare. It's just that whole um
And that
yeah.
in the fixers, if you have come up into a family and you are the fixer usually doesn't ask for help. And so, you know what? The
Yeah.
bottom falls out. And then the fixer's going to be on the floor, and everybody says, "Why didn't you tell? Why didn't you ask me?" And most people are used to the fixer fixing everything. So that could be one of the reasons. That's where I say, what was your positioning in your earlier experience like, you know? And are you still walking around like you're the fixer?
Right. And I think that is also something that you need to work on, because sometimes, again, like I did talk about this before, but that whole idea of wanting things a certain way, you
Right.
need to then work on that and be more flexible, and that one
Mm-hmm.
thing can be done in a many different ways.
Mm.
It's being open for that. If you just, you know what I mean, like that whole
Well,
perfectionist, I have a lot of it, and it's it's because I think it's about opening up and letting people take responsibility, um
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and be okay with it,
Mm.
be okay delegating. So,
Yes, yes, yes.
right.
Actually, a good leader does know how to delegate so that, you
Exactly.
know,
But I think especially I can talk about both men and women, but especially women, being in a woman's body, I feel like we are just our bodies are built so differently than men, and
mm-hmm.
when we don't try to when we don't learn how to balance our bodies with our responsibilities, um, I think that that's another reason we become perfectionist because we want to do everything, and it's learning how to balance everything, learning how to
Mm,
work with your body rather than against it. I think
hmm
that's another
hmm
reason why I actually support body-based um healing, because I think at the end of the day we need to work at the pace of our body, even if our minds can go at the speed of
Mm,
light. It doesn't matter.
that's right. What is the body feeling? What is the
What is the
body
body
thinking?
feeling?
Right,
What is the
right.
pace of the body? Because that's, and my friend keeps repeating that. I think he's on point here, because at the end of the day, you still have to work through your body. So might as
Yes,
well learn
yes,
to read the signs.
yes. Because if you don't, your body will not be working for you.
It doesn't work anyways, does it? Because then you
Yeah,
are adding on
yeah,
extra burden of shame,
yeah,
guilt,
yeah,
criticism,
yeah,
judgment,
yeah,
fear.
yeah.
All of these are because you're not learning to read the pace of your body, read the signs of your body, right? Because if you do,
That's
this
it.
will go away. So that's another way to get out of this circus, is to
Yes,
look at your body and see what it
yes,
needs. And then
yes.
all of these go away because they're just stupid, right? At the end of the day, there's nothing called perfectionism. It's all in the mind.
Mm. Mm.
If you
Well,
look and you right, look at nature. Is it clean all the time? No.
no,
Uh,
no,
you know, is it pretty all
no,
the time? No.
yes, no. That's right.
So I think, yeah. So absolutely, that helps me personally. Okay,
It has a way of cleaning itself up.
exactly. It
Nature
knows
does.
how to balance it out. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, Another question. Let me see if I missed anything. But I think we're actually over. But let's see. Okay, I think this topic is about receiving at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Women naturally are tamed, programmed to be givers. Um,
Mm.
but do you think we, or it can be men too, because men have their own programming, their shoved responsibilities, like they're the breadwinners, all of that. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
another level of giving. So do you
Yeah.
think that receiving, why do you think we have issues with receiving help? Or I guess it is somewhere related to guilt or shame. Why do you think that is?
Oh, boys. I think that um, definitely guilt and shame and pride. And that's, what going to be going like that to your experience. It's like, how did you, or what experience traumatized you, or, what was the experience when you did ask for help? Did it come with,
Mm.
um,
Oh my God.
a critical,
Oh,
what
yes.
did that experience look like? Were you critically looked at? Were you made to feel inadequate? Were you made to? How did you feel? What did that experience look like? And I think that for
Wow.
people, if you've had enough of those experiences of where you did experience the critical eye, or you were looked at from a negative aspect of that, what you weren't doing good enough, or whatnot, it eventually you don't ask for help, and then that reflects
Wow.
itself in all of your life. You start to put on
Yeah.
this cap of, okay, I can't depend on people. I have to depend on myself, and it's almost like a hyper
Ooh.
vigilant uh,
Hypervigilance. Yes.
way of acting throughout your life, and you're calling it independence.
Oh my God, you nailed it. Yes. Yes, you nailed
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
It is hypervigilance disguised
Hmm.
as independence.
Hmm. Hmm. Once again, um,
Wow.
having to go back when it's like when I see someone that when you tell me, oh my God, she's a strong, independent woman. I'm
Ah,
thinking, bull fucking shit. That was created. That was created through many times of having to walk the fucking road alone, unsupported. And when she did ask for help, guess what? It was not a good experience. Oh my God, good topic. Am I not speaking my own experience? Hell, motherfucking yes, I am. However, you realize at some
right.
point after you do enough healing that not only is it okay that you don't have to
Yeah.
be fucking broke in
Right.
to ask for help. That not everyone is viewing you from that lens. You may have to be more selective and know whom you
Yes.
are asking for help. That person is actually in. Hey, they're rooting for you,
That's
not
true.
looking at your demise. So all of those
That's
things are
true.
important. Oh my God, I don't know where all that just came from, but
I
I
love
guess it was
that.
all in there somewhere. Yep.
No, that is true actually, because
Yep.
that is the main reason we were disappointed at some point,
Right.
um, which
Right.
and probably at an early age because where our emotions are at its
Mm-hmm.
apex, right? So I'm sure, like, yeah, absolutely. But
Mm,
it's starting to question that, right? And like you said,
mm-hmm.
be
Mm-hmm.
discerning of who you're asking for help from.
Right.
S- Yeah,
And know that
wow.
not everyone is out to
Right.
count you out. That some people are
Yes.
actually rooting for you. Some people
Right.
are.
Right. Right. Right.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Um,
However, go ahead. No, no, go ahead. You have nothing.
no, it's fine. I was just looking at if did I miss anything, but go ahead.
I was just going to say that we are um,
Yeah.
22 past the hour, and I think
Yes.
that,
We can wrap it up. Yes, absolutely. Any other
yeah,
questions anyone has, feel free to add in the comments. Um,
yes, please. And thank you
and
for your
thank
participation this
you.
evening. Oh my goodness,
Yes,
Miss
thank you.
Lessons of the Hermit. Are you a tarot reader? I bet you're a tarot reader, aren't you?
You're on
Anyway,
point.
that's all right because you are on point. I can feel your intuition coming through your words. I like that.
Right.
I like that. Anyway, she says,
Teacher.
teacher. Ah, I like that too. Well, you know what I'm gonna tell you.
That's how.
You whether you are trained or you come by it very naturally. Nice,
Exactly.
nice.
Beautiful.
But you are appreciated.
Thank you.
Everyone that did
Yeah.
show up, appreciate it. You, Miss Ravney, my beautiful, uh,
Thank you.
my
Thank you.
beautiful sister. Always appreciate it and
Thank you.
giving me
Thank you for
your
having me. Yeah.
always my pleasure, my pleasure. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. When spirits at work, I just don't play with it. I just do. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. And I want to say if you haven't had a chance, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't already, but you are feeling the vibe, please subscribe because when you do subscribe, it definitely helps the algorithm. And when you
Yes.
also hit the like button, it helps this message actually reach in the areas that it needs to. So, and I just want you to know that you're all appreciated and we will be live again on we'll be
Next
live
week.
on next week on your channel
Yes.
and then we'll figure it out from there, right?
Right. And Lessons of the Hermit says you guys rock. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you and
Take
thank
care.
you. You too. You rock.
Yes,
Anyway,
you definitely rock.
yeah,
All right.
definitely you rock. Make a fabulous Wednesday evening.
We'll see you
Bye.
again. Goodbye.